Google's Pixel 10 series and Pixel Watch 4 have now emerged with more details and also some controversies. Apple's plans for its more affordable MacBook already paint a very aggressive value proposition. New rumors hint to the new Siri being tested, along with how Apple might be addressing the challenges. Samsung's new batch of Galaxy devices are actually sounding a lot better than we expected. And yes, new reports of the iPhone 17 Pro series hint to a lot of creativity in how the new design enables better connectivity. I'm Jaime Rivera, and it's time for these 5 interesting topics. This is Tech Briefing powered by MediaTek. The future of the Mac seems brighter than ever, though, particularly for anyone looking for a Mac on a budget, as the news of the Pro variants aren't going so well. If you remember the rumors of the A18-powered MacBook, well, reports call that this device will be ready as soon as late 2025 or early 2026, with DigiTimes calling for it to bring a 12.9-inch display, just like the 12-inch MacBook we all miss. Heck, listen, it could even ditch the notch according to the macOS 26 setup video, where you know Apple is particular about these kinds of details. Now, there are concerns that this A18 chip means no Thunderbolt support, though USB 3 isn't necessarily that all bad. This device is said to have an ultra-thin, lightweight design with color options like silver, blue, pink, and yellow, and annual shipments could reach up to 7 million units, boosting MacBook sales by as much as 40%. Now, yeah, about those MacBook Pros and notches. Well, the highly rumored OLED variant continues to be delayed. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman now suggests we shouldn't expect it until late 2026 or early 2027, alongside the M6 chip generation, which is when the redesign is also rumored to happen, along with either a smaller or no notch. In the meantime, next generation MacBook Pro models with M5 chips are still on track for 2026 as well, so yeah, it's kind of weird. We'll see what happens as more credible rumors start emerging around next month. I'm curious to know which device has you most excited in the comments. And how about if we talk about the future of Siri, which yes, should be the present, but in that sense, there's both good and bad news. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman just reported that Apple is currently testing its revamped Siri with both first-party applications and third-party services like Uber, Amazon, YouTube, WhatsApp, and Facebook. Obviously, the major selling point for Apple Intelligence was for Siri to be able to do this since day one, but which proved to be harder than expected, and like seriously, no one else is doing anything sort of close, so I kind of get it. For it to fully work, Apple is reportedly launching an app intense system, which is the magic sauce needed for an app to take your voice command and get something done with it. So what's the catch? Well, actually two. On one end, the reason the service is being tested on so many high-profile applications is because apparently engineers are worried about the software failing in categories where precision is non-negotiable, like health applications or banking apps. I mean, imagine Siri getting your request to transfer money to a friend all wrong and adding extra zeros. It makes total sense. And second is that, well, it seems this won't be ready until spring of 2026. And listen, I continue to think that if Apple pulls this off, it'll be the kind of service that would actually make AI go full mainstream, but clearly the complexities required in complete accuracy at a time when current services hallucinate every now and then, which even OpenAI admits to, is a must that has to be fixed first. I'm curious to know what you think about all this in the comments. And hey, it seems Apple plans to bring some subtle but interesting changes we didn't really see with the iPhone 17 Pro. According to Majin Buu, these Pro models may debut with a redesigned antenna system that wraps around the large camera bump. Yep, the exact same approach Apple has been doing with the Apple Watch Ultra and the antenna wrapped around the bezel. The change could improve 5G, LTE, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth performance by adding a longer antenna line that remains uncovered when holding the phone, along with reducing the cutouts in the chassis. Some have doubted the claim, so we'll take it with a grain of salt. But by the way, it seems the 17 Pro is still expected to use Qualcomm modems for cellular, and Wi-Fi 7 could be brought by Apple, so we'll see how that ends up. And when it comes to this, and even the iPhone 17 Air, a new batch of leaks from Majin Buu and other sources show the cases that Apple is building include a lanyard attachment. We've seen Apple do this before with the iPod Touch and the AirPods Pro 2, even if we can't remember if the company has ever really sold a lanyard before. Last but not least, we continue to get more sources agreeing to the $50 price bump. Jeff Pu just mentioned that this is all because of tariffs, but it's hard to know with how much this fluctuates. He did mention 256 gigs of base storage on the Pro model, so at least that is a plus. I'm curious to know what you think about these possibilities in the comments. Now, Samsung's plans for its next products have actually gotten more interesting than I thought when I covered it recently. If you remember, we might get another batch of devices around early September, probably around IFA. So let's start with the tablet. It seems the Galaxy Tab S11 series will be of the 14-inch Ultra as usual, but that instead of the 12.4-inch Plus model, we might only be getting the 11-inch model, which is actually something I prefer. We also hear of a budget-friendly Tab S10 Lite, which, yeah, is already confusing with the FE models that already exist. Powering the show, we have the MediaTek Dimensity 9400, which is awesome, along with 12 gigs of RAM and storage that goes from 128 to 1 terabyte. Obviously, the Lite variant will be different in specifications, which include being powered by Exynos, so it's not something to go crazy for, but to compete with the base iPad and having the FE be more of the mid-tier model that competes with the iPad Air. Now, on the smartphone side, the Galaxy S25 FE looks a lot better than expected in some new Tesco listings. It sports a slimmer bezel around 6.7 inches diagonal at 1080p and the choice for jet black or icy blue finishes, though yeah, the same Exynos 2400E processor of its predecessor. Specs include 8 gigs of RAM, up to 256 gigs of storage, a triple camera setup with 50 megapixel main, 12 megapixel ultra wide, and 8 megapixel telephoto. The battery is also larger at 4900 milliamp hours with 45 watt faster charging. I mean, it is a step down from the S25 Plus in certain things, but not everything. I'm curious to know what you think about all these rumors in the comments. Now, before we get to the hottest news, let me tell you about today's sponsor, MediaTek. This is the second year where Motorola chooses Dimensity for its most beloved Razr, and I can see why. Last year's model proved to be great in performance and endurance, and this year's Razr has only gotten better with the Dimensity 7400X and its advanced 4nm architecture. Seriously, the phone has the looks, has the feel, but then all this is matched with snappy performance, reliable connectivity, and even better endurance on a slim form factor. It's clearly the reason Motorola continues to trust MediaTek year over year. Thanks to MediaTek for sponsoring this video. And finally, for the most interesting news today, let's once again talk Google Pixels because we have both good and some possible bad news. On the positive front, Evan Blass was not done. Now we have new images of the Pixel 10, 10 Pro, and 10 Pro XL in all angles and colors. Honestly, yes, that moonstone is pretty nice on the Pro variants, but can we all just admit that the base models are doing a far better job with that frost and indigo variants? And then some retailer trading material sheds some more light on the Pixel Watch 4. It seems Google is calling this a new era of 3D dome cover glass that extends further on the edges with a new version of Gorilla Glass, and then also that wireless dock that we saw helps speed up charging by 25%. We also hear moisture detection is included, and a battery life rating of 30 hours for the small variant and 40 hours for the larger one. Heck, there's also mention of a Gen 3 sensor hub for more precise activity tracking and deeper integration with Gemini. So, what's the catch? Well, a new rumor claims that the Google Pixel 10 series will drop physical SIM card support entirely in favor of dual eSIM slots, following Apple's lead in the United States. Leaker Evan Blass suggested the Pixel 10, 10 Pro, and 10 Pro XL will go eSIM only, while the Pixel 10 Pro Fold will still feature a SIM tray. And prototype images have shown SIM trays across all models, so this claim remains uncertain until more recent hardware leaks surface, though we're so close to the device launch that I don't know. And remember, it could be that the hardware that we saw earlier was of international variant, so maybe it won't happen to everyone. In today's question, let me know. Is eSIM only support a deal breaker for you, or have you learned to just live without it? Because in my case, I can't even begin to tell you how bad my experience has been with eSIM only given how much I travel, but I understand that my case is not common, so I am really curious to know how you feel about this in the comments. Friends, thank you so much for joining on another episode of Tech Briefing. Please like, subscribe, and join the conversation in the comments, as I'm sure you've seen me try to respond to as many as I can. Also, follow me on social media as more behind-the-scenes work happens there. Our little company continues to grow, so we all really hope you like what you see. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.